他是享有盛誉的国际投资大师。他与金融大鳄索罗斯创立了令人闻之色变的量子基金。他发明了著名的罗杰斯国际商品指数。他如何看待世界和中国经济？他给中国股民什么样的投资建议？他为何认为 QE3 对整个世界不利？
And throughout history, when countries have printed money, it's been bad for the currency. It's bad not for America, but for everybody, including China.
他认为中国应该如何保持发展优势？
They need to make all of their markets open and free. They need to open immigration more in China to attract foreign capital and brains.
他为何建议从政府5年规划中寻找投资标的？
So read the 5-year plan, and then you will see which areas of the Chinese economy will do the best in the next decade.
网易财经专访国际投资大师、量子基金创始人吉姆·罗杰斯，精彩内容即将呈现。罗杰斯认为，美国推出 QE3 只会加剧通货膨胀。他不看好奥巴马连任，他认为政府和美联储只会搞砸经济。罗杰斯认为，世界经济不堪债务危机重负，会爆发严重问题。
How do you think about the QE3?
Weimi, QE3 is not good for the world. It's not good for America. They're printing money, and throughout history, when countries have printed money, it's been bad for the currency. It's bad not for America, but for everybody, including China.
Do you think QE3 will bring negative effect to China?
Eventually, yes. It means more inflation. It means more money sloshing around. It means some prices will go higher than they should because inflation is not good.
How long it will continue?
America will continue to have easy money and money printing until things get better. But it's not going to work, Weimi. What's going to happen is they're going to artificially make things look a little bit better. But when you artificially boost something, eventually, when it goes down again, it's even worse. So it's going to have worse consequences in the end.
Is there any solution?
In America, no, because that's all they know. It's the wrong thing to do, but that's what they think they should do. So they will continue to print money. Eventually, when things get really bad, they will realize this was a mistake. And so then we will try something new.
For the Obama's re-election, what's your prospect for him?
No, I expect things to get worse. We have the same president, we have the same Congress, we have the same central bank. These are the people who made the problem in America. They're not going to make it better, they're going to make it worse.
The growing number of countries are knocked by the European debt crisis. Are you optimistic about the global economy?
Maybe for a few more weeks or a few more months, yes, but later in 2013, 2014, we're going to have serious problems in the world economy.
How is the problem?
We have too much debt. The debt is going higher and higher and higher in America and in the West and in Japan. And eventually, when you have too much debt, you have problems and people go bankrupt, and the situation will get worse.
How long it will be lasted, in your opinion?
2, 3, may last 10 years. You know, in Japan they had the 1990s were a lost decade, and they've had 2 lost decades in Japan. The Japanese stock market today is down 80%, 80% from where it was in 1990. That's 22 years, Weimi. They've had 2 lost decades. We in America will certainly have 1 or 2 lost decades because we're making mistakes.
罗杰斯认为中国经济越来越好。他认为，只要中国能够鼓励储蓄、加大投资、开放汇率、保障自由、放开移民、吸引外资，最终会成为21世纪最成功的国家。
Compared with Europe and the United States, what's your prospection to the development of China?
Well, I expect China to be the most important country in the 21st century. Things continue to get better. There will be problems along the way. Your government has been trying to cool things off for the last 3 years. They were doing the right thing as far as I'm concerned. But you will have some problems. Everybody has some problems as you grow. I mean, every person, every family, every company, every country. Nothing goes straight up. Things go up like this. China will too.
compared with Europe and the United States, the development in China is relatively fast. Why?
China is the largest creditor nation in the world. America is the largest debtor nation in the world. Many parts of Europe have huge debts. When you have huge debts, you're paying off your debts. So it's hard to grow rapidly when you're always paying off previous debts. And that's the problem. That's one of the problems in the West now.
How do you think the development model in China?
China's been doing a very good job. I first came to China in 1984, and and things have been doing very well in China since then. There have been some times when they slowed down, but China will continue. China is going to be the next great country in the world. But in America, we had many problems as we grew to be successful. China will have them too, but in the end, China will be the most successful country in the 21st century.
In the future, how should China continue the high-speed development path?
You have to encourage people to save and invest. In my view, China needs to open its currency so that it's freely tradable. They need to open the markets, the stock market, the commodity markets, the currency markets. They need to make all of their markets open and free. They need to open immigration more in China to attract foreign capital and brains. You need to stop subsidizing some people. You need to let the market decide what prices should be. But China's done a very good job, Craig. China's done a very good job over the past 30 years. So yes, there are things that they should change and will change, and then they'll do an even better job.
罗杰斯认为，中国最大的挑战是水资源的匮乏。如果没有水资源问题不能得到解决，社会难以持续发展。罗杰斯非常看好缅甸等亚洲国家，他们的改革和开放会取得成功。
What's the biggest challenge to China?
Oh, I don't see any. Well, you could have recession, you could have a drought, you could have plague, you could have famine, but countries recover from those kind of things. The only thing I worry about in China is that the water, the water.
You mean water?
You have a very serious water problem in China, and I have traveled around the world, and I have seen whole countries, cities, societies disappear. If the water disappears, that's it. There's nothing you can do. China has a water problem. Now you're trying to do something about your water problem, but if you don't take care of the water problem, there's nothing left. We should all move to Australia, Canada, I don't know, Vietnam, we have Myanmar. You have to have water or your society cannot develop.
I know you have talked about the housing prices. And how is the house market will be in the future?
Well, in China? Yeah. Well, your government is trying to cool off property. I mean, just watch TV, watch the internet, read the newspaper. You will see that Beijing is trying to make property prices go down. So I would suspect that as long as Beijing is trying to cool property, there may be some problems in property. Now, some people in property will do extremely well because there are many smart people in China in property, and if you're in the right place and you do things properly, you'll do okay. But I would worry, and if you do business with the West, you might have some problems because America is going to have problems. Europe is going to have problems. But many other parts of China will do very well.
Which country do you think will develop as fast as China?
Oh, I'm very, very, very optimistic about Myanmar, extremely optimistic about North Korea and Myanmar in Asia. So those countries will grow very rapidly in the next 2 or 3 decades.
Why these countries?
They closed off and they went into decline. Now they're the poorest country in Asia. Just like in 1978, Deng Xiaoping said, we have to do something new. We have to open up. And China has boomed since then. Well, Myanmar has finally said, we have to open up too. We have to change. So Myanmar is where Myanmar today is where China was in 1979, about to open and grow. They have huge natural resources. Their neighbors are India, China, Thailand. They're going to be very exciting and successful.
罗杰斯称，并不过多关注中国股市，但会在走低，尤其是崩盘后买入留给后代。他认为，研究中国政府的5年计划对投资股市很有帮助。罗杰斯建议中国股民多做独立思考，保持怀疑精神和好奇心，只投资了解的东西。
China's capital market is still struggling. And how do you think China's stock market?
Well, I don't pay too much attention to the Chinese stock market. I wait if and when the Chinese stock, if they go down a lot, I buy them for my children. And someday my children will say he was a very smart old man. 50 years from now, 80 years from now, my children will be very happy. But right now I'm not buying Chinese shares because they're not collapsing. If they collapse, I will buy more and give them to my children.
Which stock you will buy?
Well, I don't know. It depends on what goes down the most. If you can tell me what's going to go down the most, then I can tell you. But I will tell you one thing you could do. If you read the 5-year plan, if you read the government's 5-year plan, if the government is going to spend a lot of money in an economic sector, you should probably invest there too, because it's probably going to be successful. So read the 5-year plan, and then you will see which areas of the Chinese economy will do the best in the next decade.
How is the international stock market?
You know, there are rallies, but over the next several years, I'm not optimistic about most stock markets. Maybe for the next few weeks or few months, but then I'm very worried about the West.
Why?
Because of the debt. There's too much debt, and the debt it keeps getting worse and worse. The debt is not going down, the debt is going up.
In your long-term investment career, is there any mistake you will never forget?
Oh yeah, my first wife.
You mean your first wife?
Yeah, it's a terrible mistake.
Let's back to the investment in the stock market, okay?
Many mistakes. When I was young in the business, I lost everything at one point. I made a lot of money, and then I turned around and lost it all because I didn't know what I was doing. I thought I did, but I turned around and lost everything. So I had to start over again. I guess that's the worst one, when I lost everything and then had to start over again. I was 27 years old. It's better to lose everything when you're 27 than when you're 77. It's much better to lose it when you're young than when you have a lot of money to lose.
What kind of characters is the most necessary for investment?
Curiosity and skepticism. You think for yourself, you try to figure out what's really going on, and you think for yourself.
Is there any advice to the Chinese stock market investors?
Only invest in things that you yourself know about. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to people you see on the internet. Don't listen to people in the television, the newspaper. Only invest in what you yourself know about. If you don't know what you're doing, don't invest. Wait until you find something that you know a lot about, and then invest. Otherwise, do nothing. Do not. Look out the window. Do nothing. Go to the movies. Watch NetEase on TV, on the internet. Do nothing until there's something that you yourself know a lot about.